nothing better to do than to make videos. That's what I did as a kid. So I had a friend's birthday, old friend. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to tell you how old we are. Um, but I had a. I've been recording us since we were kids, so I have like I put on a thumb drive. I edited it together this video of us when we were like his 15th birthday party when he turned 15, and we had like a spin the bottle. There was girls that came over. It was like the first time that like girls came over, really, and then like mom was like upstairs, and the parents dropped off the kids, and we were playing spin the bottle with like a what was it, 7 Up? Yeah, it was like a 7 Up, empty 7 Up bottle on a carpet, and I was recording it because I was way too shy to like, kiss a girl. It was like, and if it landed on a guy, you like shook his hand. I don't know if kids play the spin the bottle anymore, but that was funny. I'll play spin the bottle now, but I'll get arrested. It was like, let's go back in time. Yeah, that's creepy, but it was funny. But so I'm in the same room with the same people, what like decades later. Why? And they're looking at themselves as kids. Because yeah, nothing like being a grown man and watching a bunch of 14, 15-year-old kids screaming their lungs out, playing heavy metal, and trying to like make out and touch boob for the first time. Uh, what was my point? Sometimes I talk about art, sometimes I talk about other trials and tribulations, and one of the things I was going to talk about is really that. Well, I didn't drink, it was hard yesterday. It was hard at first because I was really mad because I came to my studio first to work on some stuff, and I was dressed, much better than I am usually. Most of the time, I really look like a homeless guy. Like I look like not a crazed homeless guy, but definitely down on a like downtrodden. I wonder why women don't look at me. And I look, I carry around a Seatown shopping bag, old shoes and pants that are all ratty and messed up, and a beat up old aviator jacket. It's just like, yeah, I look like, like, hey pal, you down on your luck? But it's like no, because the studio's filthy, and I'm not gonna. I already sacrificed so many clothes already. So I go in. I was dressed nicely. Came down here for a few minutes to drop off some stuff because it was like I didn't need to go down to up to his place that early, and I wound up getting paint on a very good jacket just by accident. I don't even know how I got paint on it, and I was vexed, and I didn't know until I got on the train. I'm like, oh my god, I'm totally covered in paint on this nice jacket. The crappy jacket that I brought here for the past couple of weeks I didn't get one splotch of paint, and the nice jacket that I bring and I didn't even touch anything. That's the one that gets paint on. But fortunately, my friend's girlfriend got it out. Sorry, his wife got it out with. She spent time. It was actually she really cheered me up because it was like, thank you, because I didn't want that coat to be ruined. I have the jacket to be ruined, and the one jacket I have to be ruined is not, and the one I didn't want to get ruined did. And that's life. Yeah, and I planned on not getting it ruined. And so this is what and ultimately this is my problem. My planning is my problem, and I plan things, and when I plan things, they go awry. And I feel like this is the worst thing that people say, well, if fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And when I do plan, things are usually worse. And that is what makes me irritated. That when I do plan things, like I planned my outfit and planned not to touch anything, and I get paint. And then I think I mentioned on another one of these that I went out with a drinking plan, and the plan completely fell apart. So it's like, well, I'm done making plans. So yesterday was just a whole buttload of abstinence. And going back to the jacket is just coming in because I was already furious. And I wanted to have a good time, and I was already bracing myself with the fact that everyone was going to get, well, not drunk, but definitely they were going to be lively, and I had to avoid it. And then I already was trying to just kind of like be, hold on to my mood as best as I could to avoid the temptation and not to feel bad that I couldn't partake. But having me being walk in already mad, and that's the first thing sometimes I do when I'm mad. I just want to just grab a drink and just start forgetting about everything immediately. So it took a lot of willpower, at least for the, I guess what you say, first couple of hours. It's like, well, that's a long time. But by nightfall, and then everybody settled in, and like, yeah, I just like, and we ate a lot of food, and like more food than I probably would eat in like in a week, ate in like a couple of hours, because these people love to eat. That was good food, whatever. I mean, it's my friend's birthday; he likes to eat. So in the end, I was better off not eating and drinking. It's like because I felt it was gonna pop like a balloon just from the food, and then having booze swimming through my system would have just not been good. So I already imagined that scenario. Um, Even like with my friend, he's like and I told him about all the troubles I've had lately with it. He's like if you're gonna experience if your experiences are that bad, it's not that interesting of a drug. And that's the truth. It's not that interesting of a drug to then face a whole barrage of problems later on. It's best to avoid it completely if that's the effect it's going to have. But but then like I'm looking at the 15th birthday party and I'm in it and stuff like that. We're not drinking. We're having a great time. Um, we want to drink. We're talking about, oh, let's get some beer. I wish our parents bought us beer. Like that's the whole time we're talking about that. Um, but no, obviously the mom wasn't. His mom was going to buy beer. There was no beer in the house. There was no liquor. But we still had a great time. But then again, you're 15, full of hormones and bouncing off the walls and trying to like make out with a cute girl. So like yeah, it's my only options is my friends' wives, and that's not going to go over well. But it's that kind of thinking, like man, like there was times, there was a whole youth, there was a whole childhood, there was a whole thing that had nothing to do with booze. And a day like this, where like I said, I'm ahead of the curve here, where I've already done the stuff I needed to do, and still there's all these hours left in the day. And this is what makes the whole thing dangerous. It's the same thing with like yesterday's. Is you're around a group of people, and of course you want to have a couple of drinks, and then you're by yourself, and it's a quiet day, and you just kind of want to go and all right, not much left to do, so might as well just get watch some TV and get ripped. And these are my issues and problems because it's like I'm trying to fill in the rest of the day. I'm trying to figure out something what to do, and there's a limit to what I can do because there's other people involved and other things need to be done here and so it kind of like you're trying to invent stuff to kind of get rid of the day. The day becomes a burden. Too many hours sometimes. Uh, it's like I've been for a long walk. I went through long walks the past couple of days. Like, I'm actually kind of tired. Um, but I know that that tiredness is just going to lead to just restlessness. It's hard to kind of, yeah, I feel like I don't want to do much, but when I start doing nothing, somehow my mind is going to turn, and I don't like that feeling. So I guess I'm just going to poke around and see and prod and try to invent myself some activity before nightfall. And then maybe I'll feel better and get the night done, and that's it. But that's the challenge. And it's just like I've been around people. I went out Thursday night, I went out Friday night, I went out Saturday night. So this is not a lack of like not being social. I've talked to people, I've hung out with people, I've had in-depth conversations. Today is probably the only day of the week and the only day in the past like 3 days, maybe four, where I'm just not around really any people or human beings, which is fine. Can't be around them all the time because they make me a little crazy. But then it's just like the default to just like, well, just go get a six pack, go get like a gallon of wine, and it's like, man, it's not even temptation. And then I was trying to explain, and I can't even like this thing that already ran out of time. And all in all, I was just trying to explain this to a friend of mine. The issue is that when I feel bad, it makes me feel good immediately. And what happens when you feel good? You want to stay there, and then you got to keep going and going and going until you fall asleep, you hit the brick wall, and then and then you crash downward. So, and that is how it works for me. And that's like why it becomes an issue, because once you get up on top of the tree, you want to stay there for the rest of the day or rest of how many hours, and you don't want to come back down. So that's the trouble. The best to avoid it, I guess, completely and remain even keeled. But man, that's also not easy. All right.